Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to see everyone here. Oh my goodness, welcome. Oh my goodness, welcome to Summer Magic with Goddess Anya. I am thrilled to be here with all of you. Oh my God, my heart is I'm just like over flooded with joy because I have to tell you, this workshop was actually several months in the making. I felt the presence of Goddess Anya really wanting to come in for my community, but just, I know that I have some people who are new to the community, and I just felt that she wanted to really bring through this message of ease and lightness and joy and fairy magic for all of you. So I just want to say I'm just so excited. I'm just like so excited to go into all of this magic with you today. And so before we get started, I just would love if you want to write in the chat and you want to say where you're from and also what drew you to today's workshop. And again, that's all in the chat. If you want to share that, I would love to know what brought you here today. And also, how many of you are familiar with Goddess Anya? Have you worked with her before? And I feel like she is not that she's not as known, but I almost feel like the thing with Anya, she kind of reminds me more of like an Artemis or Diana, where she really is autonomous and she is very much free unto herself, and she doesn't let anyone tell her what to do. So I think that's why a lot of the different legends, many of the legends, we see the gods and goddesses deeply connected and entwined with each other. Whereas Goddess Anya, I feel like she really stands sovereign. She stands tall and alone. So let me see, Kathy, you are from Plainfield and you know a little bit about her and her healing. I love that. And I think that like there are different kinds of healing for, different gods and goddesses. I feel like they bring different kinds of healing. And with Anya, I really feel that her medicine, her magic, what she really wants to bring through for everyone today is lightness. And there's going to be a lot of inner child healing, inner child magic. And when I connected with her a couple weeks ago, I didn't know what she wanted to bring through. I just knew that her presence was very insistent. She was very, very insistent that she wanted to come through and just like do a lot of healing, summer magic, and just general like activation with everyone. And so when I sat with her to say like, okay, you know, what is it you want to come through so strongly? I can feel it. What do you want? And it's so funny because I'm sure if you've read the astrology reports, everyone knows that there's so much happening right now. There are so many different transits. I believe this past week there was like the Mars Uranus conjunction. There's a lot of really powerful energy. There's a lot of really intense energy happening right now. And on the one hand, that can help us like move through things that we're stuck. But I think so many of us are here. We are creators. We are creatrixes. A lot of us here, we have these fairy hearts. And when we look at the world and we're like, it's taken a long time for things to manifest. And sometimes we can get a little bit down in the dumps about like the way that the world looks on the outside. And I believe Anya's message for us is really to come within and to really, she just wants us to submerge like heart, mind, body, and soul in the magic, in the complete and utter magic that exists at the core of our being. And so I really hope you can feel we are actually going to do a sacred circle and call her in, but really she has called you here today. So I know you guys may have read this in the description, but so Anya, she is the goddess of summer. She's the goddess of sovereignty, wealth, prosperity, also the harvest. And for those of you who celebrate Lammas, which is usually around August 1st, August 2nd, and that is like a really, really huge celebration of the harvest in the wheel of the year. We usually associate that now with the god Lu. However, the earliest celebrations, this day was actually reserved for Anya. And there are many different traditions that connect her, literally going as far back as Atlantis. So that's a bit more mysterious. But when you connect with Anya, she's a fairy queen, she's a goddess, but she also has more of a mermaid-like energy. And there are some stories that say she literally lived at the bottom of a lake. And like once a year, she would come out and she would brush her beautiful corn-colored hair with this very magical comb. And one day, One day there was a lad watching from afar, and he happened to see her there brushing her hair with this ornate and magical comb. And it called to him, enchanting him. And one day he was very lucky and very sneaky, and he went up and stole this magic comb from the goddess Anya. And that is something one should never do. So all different kinds of misfortune befell this young man. For days, for weeks, for months, everything went wrong, and he just kept coming back. What have I done? What could have possibly like brought this slew of bad luck into my life? And then he looked down at Anya's golden comb, and he said, "No, I know what I've done, but this comb, it's so beautiful. It's so magical. I can't give it back to her. I have to keep it. This is a treasure. This is a true treasure." But, thought Anya from afar, it is a treasure that belongs to a goddess. It is a treasure that belongs to the other world. For this beautiful golden comb contained all of the magic of the water, all of the magic of the earth, the material planes, creation itself, fairy magic. And it was not for, especially for a lad who stole, especially for someone who did not respect the ancient and old ways. And so one day, when the lad could take no more, when misfortune after misfortune had fallen upon him, he threw the comb back into the lake. And once more, harmony was restored, balance came back to the land, and Goddess Anya resumed brushing her long corn-colored hair. And I share this with you because I think that that's one of the messages. Anya has a lot of messages for us today. But in all of the stories and all the legends, she comes out on top. She always comes out on top. And this is, I think, a message that a lot of us need. Especially, I know that this workshop may have appealed more to women than to men, but I feel like it's the same thing. So many of us, I think there is a program that a lot of us have internalized. It's like, things don't work out for me. Or they maybe work out for other people, but they don't get to work out for me. Or if they do work out, it's not going to be in that grand, magnificent style. Something that would just be out of this world epic, out of this world amazing. And that is one of the reasons why I love to work with, like I said, today we're here with Goddess Anya, but the Tuna Danann, those are the gods and goddesses of Ireland. They kind of come as like a package deal. And so when you are working with one, you are really working with all of them. And, today Anya really is center stage. She is taking center focus. But the Tuatha these are mythic beings, and they invite you into a mythic experience of life. They invite you to really go big. They invite you to really step into mythic shoes. In fact, the vision that I'm having as we're talking, I'm actually envisioning like everyone kind of walking on this beautiful Irish mountain path. And there are these beautiful shoes, like they could be hiking boots, they could be full of buckles, whatever you imagine. But these are your mythic boots, and this is the key. This is the way that you step into your mythic self. And when you work with a goddess like Anya, or you work with any of the Tuatha Danann, the Irish gods and goddesses, they are inviting you to step into your mythic self and live your mythic life. And really, when we go on different vision quests, different journeys with them, they're really giving you keys to unlocking the magic that was always part of you, that has never really been extinguished. And yet sometimes we forget that it's there. So let me just check in the chat, because I think some people have written in. Bridget, you're from Massachusetts. You love Anya. Okay. Sarah, you're in Vermont, but you don't have a deep relationship with this goddess. I am very happy to help you create that today. Anya was, of all the goddesses, she is the one that I've connected with the least, to be honest. And that's why it was so funny that she's like, I'm coming in. And I knew that there are a lot of people who must need her medicine and her magic. Leah from Scotland, you have a vague knowing. That's perfect. Let me just see. I think Monica. You are here from Delaware. Oh, you're from Delaware, and you're here because you drew a solar plexus card this morning. Okay, that is perfect. Yes. So Anya is also a solar goddess. Like I said, she is a goddess of summer. And so when I think of summer, also, I am a Leo, I'm a summer baby, and that's probably why I was also so excited to bring this class to you. I associate summer with freedom. And when we look at the sun, it's like it's that resplendence, it's that larger than life energy. It's that feeling that anything is possible. And I also wrote down some notes specifically about the sun. Let me see if I can find them. But one thing I want to share about the sun, just off the top of my head, even without my notes. So there are a lot of times like people who are in recovery. My mom is actually like a drug and alcohol recovery counselor. And there are a lot of people who like their lives have been they've had kind of more hardships or there have been some more sad things that have happened and they've lost their faith, they've lost their trust in life. And one of the things my mother has always recommended, and this will change someone to the core, when they've been let down by life, uh, to go outside every morning and every night and to see the sun rise and set. And there is something so healing because if you're like, oh, I don't know who I can depend and I don't know who I can trust, you can trust. You can trust the sun to rise. You can trust the sun to set. You can trust the elements to be with you as our constant companions. And so I feel like that's one of the solar energies that Anya really brings through. There's an element of trust once more, trust in life, because we're really going to be, working today to give your manifestations a boost, to bring that summer magic into what you're here to create today. And, for that, you must kind of step more into that trust, that childhood kind of trust that we had. I feel like usually a lot of us say that we were very, very trusting when we were kids, when we were growing up. And then different things happened that brought us away from that place of truly trusting life, truly trusting the divine. But for us to step into magical manifestation, we really need to trust. Like, we need to trust in the unlimited prosperity of life. We need to trust in the unending, infinite magic and potential of life. And there's really a different consciousness we're being called into. I call this more of a fairy consciousness. And so Anya, when I was connecting with her today, and we are going to do two beautiful activations with Goddess Anya. So thing number one that she brought through, immediately, it was this energy of lightness. And so I'm just going to ask everyone to kind of go within just for a second and really look at some of the heaviness of the last 6 months in 2024. Any areas you're wanting to, release some of that density, to put it down. It doesn't even have to be density. It could be a burden, something that you are carrying. It could even be in your mind. And today, Anya really invites you to place this down, to surrender this burden, because you holding on to that isn't helping you, it isn't helping anyone, isn't helping you live the magical life that you are meant to experience. And that's really Anya's, like, that's one of her great messages for you today, is that you are meant to live a life beyond your wildest dreams and imaginings. It's to step into that fairy consciousness where everything is possible. And so that's kind of that energy of lightness. She really wants to bring that in for everyone. And I also kind of invite people to really take a moment to feel into the frequency, the energy of that word lightness. Where does that land in your body? Where do you feel that? So I know that when I breathe in, I really feel that more in my chest, in my lungs. I feel there's like an opening toward freedom. And one of the symbols commonly associated with Anya is actually a red mare or horse. And so when I think of a red mare or horse, again, a horse to me is just like the most resplendent, most magical, symbol of freedom. And so again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier about Anya being really a goddess of, autonomy. Like, she's in charge of her fate. Nobody tells her what to do. And so there's a freedom that we are connecting with when we work with Goddess Anya, and it's a freedom that really lives in the heart. This is like a teaching that's kind of come through for me in a couple different spaces, this fairy heart. And many of us have this fairy heart when we are young, and the truth is we never lose it. I kind of see it as almost like a back heart, like the back of the heart. And even though like there's all these different human experiences that we have, they can even be happy human experiences. It's like that fairy heart is kind of like the back layer. That's the way that I see it. And it's like the heart that let us experience the world through enchantment, awe, wonder, bliss, and divine magic. And so it's really today us bringing that online. And for many of you, you've been in the spiritual world for a long time. I'm sure that you follow many different like magical and spiritual leaders. So you are fully open to accessing the spiritual heart. But when I connected with Goddess Anya, one of the words I heard was practice. And she really wants everyone to practice opening back into this eternal magic of the heart, because it's when we're in this space, that's when we make miracles. That's what we make miracles. And I want to just kind of talk a little bit. Like I said, the first thing when I connected with Anya in preparation for today's workshop, it was this real call to bring lightness in for each and every one of you. So we are going to do an activation to release any residual heaviness, move into lightness with Anya. And then there's a part two, which I did not expect. And that part two that dropped in was inner child healing. And so it's so funny because it's not even just inner child healing, it's inner child activation, it's magical activation. And when I started to connect with this like beautiful inner child within me, I kind of just like started to see how that inner child functions differently than my adult consciousness. So when I'd ask my adult consciousness what it wanted, my adult consciousness would say, I want to create this big thing and I have this dream and I have this mission and this destiny. I know I'm a Leo, so I have when someone asks me about a dream, oh, there's a lot of fire. There's a lot of fire, and when I kind of ask that very same question of my inner child, what do you want? I'm not kidding. The answer I heard was, "I want a lollipop." I share this, I just share this with such love and just transparency because it caught me off guard when I heard that and I laughed. And I usually am not in dialogue with my inner child, but I opened up to dialoguing with that inner child when Goddess Anya really started to come through, and I really wanted to see what is the medicine, what is the magic that you have for everyone. And really, it was this reclamation, this powerful reclamation of the inner child. So I just want to speak on this quickly because I have heard, I want to tell you full honesty, full disclosure, whenever I would hear inner child, I would run the opposite direction. It did not matter who said it, I would run away because I didn't have all the best experiences growing up. So even if I would read a book and there was a section or a chapter that was an inner child's healing, I would skim it really quickly and then I would move on to the next chapter. But I came to understand there are two different aspects of the inner child. There is the wounded child. And I realized that when I would connect with my inner child, I would always go to the wounded inner child. But there's also the divine magical child. And she is the one, like I said, when I asked my inner child, like my divine magical child, oh, what do you want? She's like, I want a lollipop. And I'm sharing this with you because I didn't understand that distinction. I didn't really understand that there were different versions of that inner child. And really that inner child, Anya is here today to help you kind of bridge back to that version of you that knew that magic was around every corner, that infinite possibilities were just this is your birthright to experience the magic of creation, the magic of existence. So we're going to do a very, very powerful activation today with Goddess Anya. There are actually going to be two. And so I'm curious if anyone has things that they're here to manifest, because we're really coming into summer magic, which is really the energy of celebration. I know someone here said in the chat that one of the things that drew them here today is they drew a solar plexus card, and that's why they're here, for that solar wisdom, that solar magic. And, we're going to do an invocation for Anya in a second, but I really want you to really step into that energy of the sun. This is you shining in your brilliance. This is you really standing strong in that fairy energy, in the magnificence, the radiance of, it's not just, I feel like many of us, we look up at the sky and we see the sun, but it's like the magical sun, as if you saw the sun suddenly surrounded by like iridescent diamond light, to really see the world through the eyes of enchantment. And this is something that Anya is going to be helping you today. It's when you look around, do you see the world through this lens of enchantment? And Anya wants me to presence. I can feel her wanting to say. I know some of you are coming on a little bit later to this. Anya, besides being a goddess of the Tuatha De Danann, she is a fairy queen. So she's a fairy queen, and that is why she's really bringing through like a fairy heart activation for each of us. And she wants you to step into lightness and joy. In these activations, we're also going to be bringing in not just her, but like a fairy entourage. There's going to be a lot of fairy magic. And let me see Venus in the chat. I think you just wrote something. Oh, let me see if I can find that chat. Scrolling down a little bit. Okay. You would like to bring the energy of the sun with you as you move toward autumn into the dark. Oh, I love that. Empowered from your internal sun. That is good. You are with the right person. You are with the right person today because like I shared, I am a summer baby. I am a Leo. And I just also want to share as we are moving toward the Lion's Gate, this becomes increasingly more important because so many of us, like we're in a really powerful portal of creation. We are undergoing intense transformation from all fronts, within and without. There's so much happening in our world. There's so much happening in the cosmos astrologically, and there's just also so much that is brewing within us. And that's why this work is so important, because it doesn't matter the transformations we go through, the way our lives may change and transform, but there is a part of us, there is an eternal divine part of us that no matter what happens, no matter what we go through, that core of who we are, that magical core of who we are never changes. It's like a diamond that it just grows brighter and brighter and more iridescent with every new experience we have. So today, part of Anya's magic is connecting us with this enchanted heart. I feel like it's like an enchanted diamond heart. And part of like why is this so important? One, this is really to help lighten the load, just energetically, emotionally help you lighten your consciousness. But also it's to bring in greater flow, greater magic to your creations this summer. And your creations, I just feel called to say, it doesn't have to be like you're sitting in manifestation meditations and you're trying like really hard to create something. This can just be something simple like going to the supermarket. This can be going to the flower store and buying a beautiful flower. This is like, how can I bring this magic into my daily life? And that's really what Anya is wanting you to remember, that this thing all around you, this is magical, but it's really stepping into that consciousness and really choosing it. So I actually had some notes here. I want to make sure that I don't forget them, but it was really about choosing. Hopefully I can find these. But I will find it later. But before I go into our activation, I want to actually read, it's a beautiful invocation for Goddess Anya. And before I read the invocation for Anya, let's just properly call her into this space. So I'm just going to cast a sacred circle. Some of you who are new to my list, you may not have seen me do this before. This takes a couple of minutes. I like to call them the elements. I like to call them directions, different gods and goddesses. And then we're really going to move into a beautiful activation for today. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm just really feeling the beautiful energy of everyone here. And I want to thank everyone here who is live, or if you're watching the replay, thank you for bringing your beautiful energy to this space. I feel your energy, all of you. It is off the charts, amazing. I feel like as I'm sitting here with all of you, it actually feels like I'm smelling the most fragrant, most beautiful flowers. So thank you for lending your light, your energy, your magic to this holy container, to this space today. So I'm just going to take a deep breath and cast our sacred circle. So I cast this circle to create a space beyond space and time beyond time. I cast this circle to block out all energies and spirits that are not allies of ours. I cast this circle that all energies raised here and remain confined. As above, so below, as within, so without, the circle is sealed. Beautiful. Into this space, we call now the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. We call the directions, north, south, east, west, above, below, and within. And as we call in the elements, you can almost see in your mind's eye the four corners of the globe, seeing north, south, east, and west, feeling the energies of each of these individual winds, the four winds, really feeling them come into this space. So you're really calling the elements, elemental magic into this space. Also recognizing the power that we hold as sovereign fairy kings and queens, all of us here, you are here to activate the remembrance of your own magical power here today. Really calling all of that online for you. And now I want to call in, without further ado, Goddess Aine, beautiful goddess of summer and sovereignty, solar goddess of wealth, prosperity, and the harvest, goddess of the waters, goddess of the most ancient of days. We welcome you to this sacred space. Now I have this little invocation I wrote for Goddess Aine. And Anya is also associated sometimes with the water, like I said, and because of that connection with water, we also see her as deeply ruled by the moon as well. So that's what makes her so special. She is a solar goddess, and yet she holds this very deep connection to water and the moon. So let me, without further ado, go into this beautiful, beautiful invocation for her. Oh, beautiful Anya, queen of the sun, beloved child of the moon, great lover of the water, she who whispers to the elements and wields both night and day. O beautiful Anya, today we call upon you for blessings of summertime joy, summer magic. Come, frolic with us, awaken our heart of hearts to the magic that was there at the dawn of days, at the earliest moment of the beauty of this place, the sacred place that we call home, Mother Earth. Help us step into the resplendence of our soul. Help us step into the magic of all things. Let us be as bright and brilliant as the sun. Let us be filled with happiness. Let us choose happiness this day and all days. Help us, guide us to step into bliss, joy, and summer magic, and as well as great enchantment. Bless us this day, Goddess Aine, with summer magic and great enchantments. So I'm just really welcoming her into this space, and I hope you can feel the energy coming in. We're also calling in the fairies that work with Goddess Aine, and she is a fairy queen of County Munster. So she is really bringing in a very special energy for us today. And without going forward, we have to make sure that we call in the other beautiful members of the Tuatha Dé Danann. I just want to call in Goddess Bridget, Goddess of Spring. I want to call in Dagda, the good God. I want to call in Eru, beautiful divine goddess Eru, for whom Ireland is named. I want to call upon Danu, Great Mother, and just all the Tuatha Dé Danann, Lug, Ogma. I call upon all of the beautiful, beautiful souls of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the She, and also the great magic of Ireland herself, the land herself, the soul of Ireland, to be here with us in this space. This is a magic that is eons, thousands upon thousands of years old. And today we call upon, we work with this earliest magic. When we connect with Anya, we connect with her in our modern moment here today in 2024. But we also wish to connect in a space beyond time with the magic that was there when Anya first walked the earth. We call upon this most ancient magic to be remembered by all of us now, to be remembered in body, mind, and in our heart of hearts. Let that magic, let that lightness of being, let that be awakened for each and every one of us now. I invite you to take a couple deep breaths and just really come back into this now moment. And we're about to go on a beautiful guided journey with Goddess Aine, but I just want to just make sure there are a couple other things I think she wanted me to share. So yeah, one of the messages that really came through from Ani before today's workshop is allowing yourself to let the fun in. Because again, this is a workshop on summer magic. So this is a beautiful activation where we're going to release the barriers to fun and fully claim it. And so really when we look at summer, Anya, really what she brings through, she is the promise of summer. And summer is the best in life, the height of the human experience. Really, it is looking at Anya. We talked before of her as a goddess of sovereignty, but it's also recognizing the sovereignty of your dreams. Not just saying, oh, that's my dream. Does it really mean anything? Does it really matter? Oh, yes, your dream matters. And it's this kind of moment to really crown your dream. And doesn't even have to always be a big dream. It could be even small desires, like going to the store and getting like a cupcake or getting, I don't know, just like an ice cream, something that brings you joy, because that's that energy, that fairy magic. Anya is very much wanting you to step back into, if you can just take a deep breath before we move into our activation, if you can go back into that child within you, see if you can feel if he or she, what is going on inside your heart, this inner child. What are they asking for? What are they longing for? And besides that longing, what would bring them immediate joy? If you could just deliver something in the next 2 or 3 minutes, if something could pop, bam, right out of midair, and you could bring that to your beautiful inner child, what would bring them the utmost joy? And take a moment to just kind of sit with that. And we're just really activating, we're really calling upon like a full activation for this inner child to bring them online. And we're really connecting very strongly with the energetics of Goddess Anya for this recalibration, for this great healing to take place, to help your inner child step into being the magical child, step into holding its magic on a whole new level. So I just wanted to share that. And now, without further ado, we're going to move into our first activation, and you're going to get a real experience with this goddess. So I know some of you are new to her, and that is absolutely perfect. I'm just really inviting you to stay open, see what she wants to share with you, see if she has messages. And if not, you can just open to feeling her presence, just connecting with this goddess. There is going to be a frequency transmission. There is a reason that you've been called here today. So I invite you to take a couple deep breaths, really breathe in, and now close your eyes and feel yourself transported through time and space. You find yourself on a beautiful hill at Logor in Ireland. There's a beautiful lake here. There's a beautiful lake with the most sapphire, resplendent waves. You look into the center of the lake, and there is a single rock. On this rock, you see there's ancient seaweed, and a figure sits on the rock so gracefully, so gently, brushing her long corn-colored hair with a magnificent comb. She turns when she hears you approaching. Take a moment to see the magnificence, the beauty of this glen all around you. The trees seem to kiss the sky. You hear the fluttering of birds in the distance. Every step you take, you hear the music of the earth. You walk closer and closer to this great, beautiful goddess who sits there on the rock, combing her hair, as if mesmerized, drawn to her. And as she looks at you, you look into her eyes from afar, and you see the sea. You see the sea and the sky in her beautiful blue-green eyes that reflect the water and the sky above. She suddenly steps down from the rock and makes her way through the water to where you are. You see her moving towards you. And as she moves, there is this beautiful aura of iridescent, sparkly, magic light that surrounds her. She looks not of this world. In the distance, you hear the whinny of a red mare. This beautiful red horse rides through the hills. And as you look into the distance and you see this great horse riding, a beautiful pang of freedom pierces your heart, and you feel something open, a freedom you didn't even know was there, the freedom which has always been a part of you, the freedom which you have never forgotten. Take a moment to really breathe deeply as you see this red horse trotting across the horizon. See this horse and feel the pulse of freedom in your heart. Anya looks at this red mare with love, and she hears it whinny with joy in the distance, running up and down over great hills, whinnying up to the sky. And then at last she turns to you. And just take a moment to really breathe in the presence, bask in the presence of this great goddess. See her with hair the color of the sun. Feel the solar warmth, this presence that she brings. She is enchantment itself. She is joy. She is lightness. She is love. She is the lightness of all creation. She is mirth. Take a moment to really feel this energy emanating off of her. No, you could not be here if you were not ready to embrace this lightness of your human experience, the lightness that has been waiting for you. And as you're here before her, before you've even spoken a word or introduced yourself, feel the heaviness, feel the cares moving off of you, feel the burdens leaving your shoulders. Take a moment. It is just you and her right now. Just being in her presence is healing in and of itself. Breathe, breathe deeply. See this red horse now frolicking in the distance. The more you soak up, the more you bask in this energy of lightness and freedom and joy, the happier you see this horse. You see it standing before a great, great splash of the sun. It stands before the sun, and you see its silhouettes. There is something so majestic, so meaningful about this moment. Part of you feels that you will never forget it, and yet you don't want to miss it because it's still happening right here, right now. And now, if you have not met the Goddess Aine before, I invite you to introduce yourself, to share who you are, what you love, what you care about, what helps you stay in this energy of lightness, and also if there are any burdens or cares you are here to release. She has called you here. She is happy to hear all of this. She wants to know you in this deep, sacred, and intimate way. For many of you, she has known you in different lifetimes, in different incarnations. This is not her first time connecting with you. She wants you to know that she has seen you, she has known you, she has loved you, and she has called you here. There's nothing too big, she says. Whatever you wish to release, share with me, share with me. As you stand there with her, sharing these secrets, unburdening yourself, she raises both of her arms, and you see that she is wearing this beautiful gold and white dress. It looks as if she herself is the embodiment of the dawn, the embodiment of first creation. And as she raises her arms, you just feel this golden light pulsing from one hand to the next, moving all around you until you are in this iridescent bubble of the most beautiful diamond, gold, and white light. This is the light of first creation. It is pure, innocent. There are no cares here, no burdens. In this light, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, more resplendent. It sparkles. And as you stand where you are, you feel this light suddenly becoming one with you. You feel this light growing You are surrounded by it. It grows even bigger, surrounding you and her. Goddess Aine holds you in this embrace. And as you are here, feel this light bathing your skin like warm nectar, like the sweetest bath of the most sacred, beautiful water. Take a moment to breathe. Feel all the cares, the heaviness. Let them dissolve. Let them go away. Let them evaporate as if they were nothing. If there's any part of your physical body where you're holding this density, where you're holding this constriction, here in this moment, invite you to take a hand, your hand, or perhaps you want to have Goddess Aine help you. Place a hand if there is any part of your body that is still constricted, that is in need of healing. Open now to receive a magical transmission, to release the density. Open heart, mind, body, and soul for the healing that summer brings, the healing that happens when you open up to the best in life, the finest in life. For when you open to that beauty, nothing else can live there. And just really feel this lightness, this golden light breaking through everything that you've been carrying with you here today. And now, Aine invites you, if you have a question you would like to ask her, or if you would like to receive some words of wisdom, take a moment to see if there is anything that she has to say to you. Beautiful. And now she raises a hand. She invites you to take her hand gently and softly. All of a sudden, there is a great beanstalk that comes up from the ground, and she invites you to take her hand and ride up with her. The beanstalk grows bigger and bigger and bigger till it takes you up into the clouds. All around you, oh, you are in the most magnificent fairyland up here in the clouds. See this beautiful fairies flying back and forth. And in the clouds, there is a beautiful lagoon, an oasis, and a great flying castle in the distance. She takes you there. And little by little, you marvel at the beauty of this place. You feel the lightness of your being because of all that you release and all you let go of. Aine takes you to a place beyond time and space. And out of nowhere, she takes a magical feather duster from her beautiful, beautiful gown, and she starts wiping you clean of all the heaviness. Any density, any heaviness, any seriousness, go, 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 she says. And she swishes and swishes her magical feather duster. And you just feel all of this melting away, moving away. And when they see this, all the fairies who have been watching from afar, oh, they just suddenly fly in, they buzz in. And some of them use their hands, others, they have their own magical feather dusters, and they start cleaning very carefully. They're cleaning your hair, dusting you. Say, we must get this off. It's almost as if they are polishing you, like you are a diamond. You are a diamond they are polishing and bringing back into your natural state of being. These fairies, they say, this heaviness, it will not do. It will not do. These thought forms, and they start dusting your head. These old ideas, they're holding you back. This is the time, the fairies say, in unison, and some of them speak aloud. Some of them have very special accents and very sweet melodic voices. It is time, they say, to be more in the fairy energy, to be more in the spirit of love and play and joy, to be fairy kissed. And with this, all of these magical fairies come forward, and one by one, they kiss your cheeks. really open to this big fairy kiss from all these different fairies, and they're all different beings here. There are also some gnomes. You may see different kinds of elemental beings. Just open to whoever wants to come through. And now Goddess Anya herself takes you by the hand and gives you a sweet, loving, and caring cheek, a caring kiss on the cheek. She is full of love for you. And with this magical kiss that you receive from Goddess Anya, feel all of a sudden the sweetness of creation itself. Feel the sweetness of this now moment. Remember that life gets to feel sweet. And just take a moment to really open up, revel in the sweetness of this now moment, revel in the sweetness of this experience. Anya now takes both of your hands, and there's a transmission here from Goddess Anya. There is a great golden light that pours from her hands onto yours. And this is an attunement to the energy of lightness itself, the lightness of the goddess, the lightness of Anya. This is a lightness that comes from the first dawn of time.
Nope.
And just take a moment. Just take a moment to really, really feel this washing over you, moving through you. And before you leave this magical place in the clouds, just let all the fairies come close. Just receive fairy blessings, fairy magic. They sprinkle this fairy magic, these fairy blessings onto you, like pixie dust, like stardust. And here, this is to boost your manifestations, your creations, and just to make your life more fun. Goddess Anya opens her hands and reveals a ball of golden light. She says, "This is a gift. Take this back with you into the human world. Take this resplendence, this light, this solar energy, this energy of summer magic. Take this with you, that your summer may be blessed." And as you take this ball of golden shimmering light from Great Goddess Anya, I invite you to just really look at your summer. Look at all of the magical things that are in store for you, everything that you are creating, and see them in this golden crystal ball. See them now blessed and bathed by the frequencies of Anya's magic. This isn't just her magic, it's fairy magic, and it lives within your heart as well. Add your power, the power of your intention. Add the fairy magic that has always been there in the very depths of your heart. Pour all of this into this beautiful golden ball that you see, all of these magical things that are happening this summer, all that you are in the process of living and creating and experiencing. Just take a moment to really intend to bring Anya's magic to them, to bring your own heart magic to them. Just really open up to a great blessing for all that you could have imagined and more, for joy beyond your wildest dreams, blessings beyond your wildest dreams. In this moment, give yourself full permission to open bigger and bigger than you have ever opened before. Anya places a hand on your heart, and you feel that this here is the secret, this opening of the heart. Feel your heart opening as if there were a door on the heart, and this door suddenly was opening bigger and bigger and bigger. And as your heart door opens, open to the magic, open to the enchantment, open to trusting life. And if there's any part of you that resists that, Anya places a hand so gently on your heart, and there is suddenly a beautiful magic that comes from her fingers, dissolving any doubt, dissolving any fear. And just take a moment to let this beautiful magic, this beautiful alchemy take place. Feel this opening of the heart, this transmutation of anything that is stopping you from opening to the greatest, most abundant, most magical experience of yourself this summer. It's really open to that. And I invite you now in this space to summon forth a wish, something that you would like to experience. It doesn't have to be something that you think is easy, to happen, or it could be something very simple. But take a moment in this magical space to see if there is a wish, something deep inside your heart of hearts, deep in your fairy heart. Is there a wish that you wish to share, either with Anya herself, or a wish that you want to just embed deeply in this fairy heart, shining a light on it, giving it space to breathe, putting your intention on this sacred wish, knowing that here in this place of great magic, all of your creations are given a special boost. And we call upon the light of the sun, the solar energy here, to really nourish our creations here today, to nourish all the beautiful divine souls who are here to receive this healing and activation. And really just open to receive this now. Feel the light of the sun. Feel the love of Goddess Anya, her joy, her happiness to be here with you. And now take a moment to see if there are any final words of wisdom, any parting blessings that Anya has for you before you leave the sacred oasis in the clouds. See if there is something magical, something special she would like to share with you. Beautiful. And I invite you to take one last look at this magical oasis in the clouds and feel yourself suddenly transported back through time and space to the room where you first began today's magical journey. Feel yourself coming back to the now moment, coming back to the here and now. Really anchor, root, and anchor your feet here deeply into the earth. Wherever you are, whether you're inside, whether you're outside, really, really come back, because we just went very high vibrational with Goddess Anya. And again, her energy really was one more of lightness. And so now I invite you to really see there are these beautiful roots coming out of the base of the chakras at the base of your feet, and really just feel yourself rooting down now. I know we usually do this at the beginning of an activation, but I feel guided to do this now that you've really received that blessing from Anya. We're really bringing this deeply into the body. And to do this, I actually invite you to almost like clap your hands together, rub your palms, really anchor this in, really call this in. I want to also call in the energy of Ireland herself. Ireland herself, the great land, both land and sea. And I really want to call upon a blessing from the earth elementals to help us be rooted in this activation, to really bring this into our heart, mind, body, and soul, but really specifically the physical form. Beautiful. So I have a little bit more to share. And there's another activation. I promise that there would be another activation. This is like some inner child healing, some inner child magic. But I want to know how that was for everyone. If people want to put in the chat about that experience, if anyone wants to come off if they want to come on camera, I mean, if anyone wants to actually share, or if they just want to write in the chat. Oh, Katinka, before we started, you said you were going to take a moment of silence to connect with that child. I'm so glad you did that. Okay, let me see what else in the chat. Ruthie, you love the fairy magical energy. Thank you. Yes, I love that. Yes, I know that's what was so funny. There's so many, I mean, there's so many spiritual teachers right now, and a lot of them, they're sharing some some serious, as especially astrologically, there's like a lot of like big things happening. And I think that's why Anya was like, I really need to come in. These people, they need to laugh. That's what she was like. I want to help them laugh. I want to help them smile. And this is what it's all about. This is really I feel, especially because Anya is an Irish goddess. And I really feel that when I connect really with the spirit, the heart of Ireland, there is a lightness. There is a true joy here. And that's what we're all trying to, I feel like, come back to today. Let me just see here. Okay. Continue. You said it was a great transmission. I'm so glad you liked it. Okay. And Lenny said, so magical, you really needed this. Oh my goodness. You can smile and laugh again. And Linda, good. You said, okay, beautiful host of fairies. Hold on, let me see. I want to make sure I get your whole message. Kiss me on the cheek. Oh my God. I love that. Yes, I know. I felt them coming in. I felt them coming in with their fairy kisses. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy everyone enjoyed that transmission. I felt that it was really powerful, like transformational too. And I'm just gonna take a sip of water. But let me see, Linda. I think you were a little bit more. It's like, and your cheek actually tickled. Oh, when the fairies kiss you, your cheek actually tickled with their touches. Oh yeah, I believe it. They are here. These fairies are here. Okay, let me see. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ruthie. You're sending me love. Okay, Roxanne, you said laughter, joy, smiles, emotional. I'm so glad. I'm just so happy that we're all here together in this magical space. Okay, so our next activation, I know your guys are like, I just went on a journey, but yes, there's more. So our next activation, I've been talking about the inner child, and I really want to focus more on that magical child, but I don't want to negate the wounded child either, because a lot of times it's hard for us to actually connect with that divine magical child, because the wounded child is like when I've done, like I mentioned earlier, more inner child work, I could not get to my magical child because it was always the wounded child. And, I realized that that magical child, they are really the source of all the things that you're wanting to create, like all of the things, like whether it's, like I said, whether it's something you actually want to manifest in your life, or if it's just literally you want to create an incredible day where you wake up and everything is beautiful. Everyone is friendly to you. You go out in your garden and it's just the most amazing time planting flowers, and you have the most incredible lunch and everything just feels good and feels great. That is also the magic of Anya. It is the summer magic. And that's really what we're all opening here today. This is like, to me, these are the keys to the kingdom. This is the highest experience of life, because while like a lot of us have, we have big dreams, some of us may feel that we have like a big purpose that we're here to fulfill. But to me, what's the point if we're not in this energy? What's the point if we're not savoring the sweetness of this experience? And I feel like what I'm also sensing too, I think for especially a lot of people who are on this call, many of you, I just feel like have had past lives, like in like different kind of fairy incarnations, or maybe you just have like a very deep resonance with the fae, with fairies. And so when you're used to that, like that lightness, that airiness, that sweetness of the of the fairy experience, and then you're hearing human form, sometimes it's like it's just not as much fun. And that's part of why I think it's so important for all of us to come together, for us to come together and say, actually, we are bringing the magic. We are the magic. We are holding it. And so I really just invite everyone to take a moment to actually just kind of energetically connect with the group energy of this call today. And I know there are people who are also going to be watching on the replay, and just really feel the fairy magic, the fairy frequency that is here. I really feel this is also the energy of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the ancient gods and goddesses of Ireland, and they are supporting us. This is a remembrance. It is a heart and soul remembrance, and that's part of why they're here right now. And there are all different ways that we can connect with Tuatha Dé Danann. We can actually go to Ireland and we can experience like, sacred sites, but really the Tuatha Dé Danann, like they really, really, truly want us to have this experience of magic in our daily lives. Like that's the way that people used to experience life. We didn't have to travel across the world to experience magic. We just snapped our fingers and there it was. So I want to go into the inner child activation in a second. But what I really want to say, going back to the inner child, is I mentioned before Anya is a goddess of sovereignty. And when I was feeling into what wanted to come through today, it really is this crowning of your magical child, of your inner divine magical child, letting them experience their sovereignty. Because a lot of times that magical child, maybe there's something that happened when you were growing up. Somehow, like there is something that gets broken along the way. And I know that like I don't want us to go into the wound. That's not the space for like this is not the space to go into more of that, that energy of the old wound or the old story. So I think a lot of us have done, we've all done our work. We've all like uncovered, we've gone deeply into our past. But today is the moment that we take whatever work we did in the past. This is the moment your inner child is also what called you here today. And today we are really crowning this inner child. This is a sovereignty moment. Goddess Anya is going to connect with you. And our second journey today, your inner child is going to go on the magical quest of a lifetime to meet a fairy queen. I feel like my inner child would be just like, this is the best thing ever. This is so exciting. This is wonderful. And so it's really through the deep healing, the deep activation of our magical inner child, that all the possibilities, all the magic opens up to us. And then we will step into more of that energy of prosperity and abundance that I know all of us are calling that in. And I want to make sure that I'm clear here. When I say prosperity and abundance, like, yes, that can be financial, but it could also be like prosperity is also your health. It's also the quality of all different aspects of your life. And when I say abundance, that could be an abundance of friends. That could be an abundance of ideas. You could sit down if you are writing a book and all of a sudden you sit down and you write 20 pages. That's an abundance of pages. You could have an abundance of creativity. So really, we're going back with Anya. I mentioned that she is also very deeply connected to the harvest. And so when I think of the word harvest, I think of the word fruition. So it's like one of those things where this abundance that we call upon when we work with Goddess Anya, it is really toward the fruition of, it could be, like I said, having more friends, having like more creativity. Really, like that's the whole energy of the harvest, is something that grows and abounds and multiplies, and really stepping into that frequency of never ending abundance. And when we look at the gods and goddesses, they are eternal. They are eternal. And so it's like really stepping into ourselves as infinite creators, infinite gods and goddesses in our own right, goddesses of abundance, goddesses of prosperity. And so that's really what Anya is inviting us to do today. But the way to do that, the bridge to do that, is we have to go back. There was a moment that we looked at the world and everything was just magical and perfect. And I can just share from my own experience. I remember when I was 4 years old, oh my God, the world was my oyster. I just cannot tell you. I was so vivacious. I was so full of life. And you guys might see me now and think that, oh, I'm still like that. But I'm sharing you that there is a period, probably around like the age of 5 or 6, where I lost a lot of that joy. And I can share, my parents were always fighting when I was a kid. And so I started to internalize that on an energy level. Before I was even conscious, I was doing it, but it brought my energy down. And then when I was in third grade, when I was 8 years old, my best friend moved like I lived in New Jersey in the United States, so it's kind of like the northeastern part of the US, and my friend moved all the way to the other side of the country. That was my best friend. And I remember I was just heartbroken because I'm someone who bonds for life. I'm one of those people. And so I just remember, I'm sharing all this with you because suddenly it was like the rug was pulled out from under me. And I think that was like, for me, that was the moment of disconnect. So when I look back at when I was so happy and joyful, really for me, it was around that time when I was 4 years old. And like, yes, I had other nice things that happened in my childhood. Like there were other good moments, but I just remember that was like before then, I was really in that fairy consciousness. I was in this like incredible magic and joy. And I've been recently doing some more work in preparation for this workshop to connect with that 4-year-old version of me. And when I did, it almost brought tears to my eyes because I just remember just how in love with life she was. And I just was like, I don't know, how do I account for everything that happened between then and now, between when I was 4 years old to this moment? Like, why did all of this stuff in between, why did it have to happen? And then I realized the beauty of all that that 4-year-old version of me, and I'm speaking here about me, but it really is for every single one of you as well. It's like, she was actually never gone. She's always been a part of me. And there are so many versions of me in between then and now, but I don't need to take all of them with me. Like this, so what I feel like is really, I want to speak to in this moment, I really see this, everyone here, I believe this with all of my heart and all my soul. This is a precipice moment for so many people. We are not going to be the same people at the beginning of the summer as we was. I'm going to re-say that. We are not going to be the same people at the end of the summer that we were at the beginning. That's what I mean to say. This summer, the energetic transits, everything that is happening within and without, we are not going to be the same people. Yes, we'll be the same core essence, the same core self, but all of us are really being called to up level, to claim more, to step into more. And for that, it's really, even though a lot of what we're seeking seems to be external, really the way forward is within. And I know people have said that many, many times, but I think what people are really missing, I genuinely believe the bridge to whatever you want to create, whatever you're wanting to step into, I think that bridge is, like in my case, it is my 4-year-old self. You may have a different, you may have a different timeline. It might be a different age for you, but it's that part of you that believed in wonder and miracles, that part that opened the door and saw the sun and was like, oh, how beautiful. That part of you, he or she is the key. They are the bridge. And so that's really what I'm wanting to go into today with you. And that's part of why I feel this is so, I don't know if you guys can feel, this is very deeply on my heart. This was something that I had to share. This healing really needed to come through. And I've kind of been playing with that because I've really had to see that 4-year-old self. I've had to open up to her again and let her be the bridge to this new chapter that is opening for me right now, this new moment that is unfolding. And not that I have to forget all the lessons I learned in between, but I don't need to hold on to all those other versions of Elizabeth. I can let them go. And I can let that 4-year-old help me create a life of true bliss, abundance, prosperity, all the things that Goddess Aine is here to bring to us. We can step into that here, today, and now. And that's really my invitation. This is the very fairy consciousness. This might be hard for some of our human selves to really take in, but fairies are very similar in some respects. Not all fairies, I want to say, but most. They can actually just kind of move on. They human beings get stuck on things for years, and we can, we can like kind of like be like, that person did this, or we had this thing happen 10 years ago, and it's like hard for us still to move past it. Fairies move very quickly. They can move on very fast. And so we're invited to that different kind of consciousness, that whatever you're holding on to, whatever old stories, anything that is limiting you, today Goddess Aine really invites you for the happiness, for the destiny of your soul. Can you let that go? Whatever that is, like whatever that is, to lay that down, because what you're doing when you do that, you're choosing you. You're choosing you. You're choosing that magical child. That magical child, he or she is your greatest power, not just to create an outward manifestation, but to create happiness, to create joy here and now. And the way to create happiness truly, it just is something that you have to claim. And I know that, like, I'm sure many of you have heard this before, and nevertheless, I feel that I must put voice to this now. I must share it. One of the things that I have done is, like, it's almost like a mantra for me. I choose happiness. Whenever something goes wrong and I go to the store and like there's just something not going correctly, or I don't feel like someone spoke to me in a nice way, I just like come back to that mantra. I choose happiness. And it's not just words, it's a soul choice. And so that's really what I'm inviting everyone here to do today. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter what the astrology says. None of it matters right now, except that you actually choose in your heart of hearts, in your soul, I choose happiness. And happiness means different things for different people. But I do feel in the case of today, because we are working with Goddess Aine, it's like choosing more of that lightness that was there at the beginning of this earthly incarnation, going back to that version of you and then bringing them forward and starting. It's like you guys are starting together, you and that version of you that was so full of life, so happy, the version of you that had never been hurt, the version of you that was like, oh, everything is awe and magic and wonder. That's the person we're going to connect with today, because they have messages for you. They have wisdom for you. They have something off the charts powerful to share with you. And it's through this reconnection with them that I really feel we're calling in the highest level summer magic for everyone here, and real blessings for this summer, but also for the totality of your life. That is my divine intention for everyone here. And I can just speak from my heart for myself. The last few, like I would say months, but even the last couple of weeks, I have gone through, I felt like such a huge metamorphosis. And I just recognize, like, a time and time again, that we are living in very powerful times. We are living in very powerful times. And it is really incumbent on us to, we have to set, like I said in the beginning, the fairy said to step more into that ease and playfulness and lightness. To do that, we need to practice. It's so funny. And the fairies, the way they said it to me, they called it play practice. They're like, you need to play practice. And I thought that was so sweet and so endearing, because when a lot of times when you hear, oh, I have to practice, I almost thought of being a kid and like playing a musical instrument. It's like, nope, you're not good. You got to practice. And always feeling like, oh, this is so tedious, it's so time consuming. But no, when the fairies say play practice, it's like really you're invited to just play in that energy of fun. Call in Anya, call in the fairies, make this part of your, if you choose to, make this part of your life going forward. And it doesn't have to be with Goddess Anya if there's someone else that you feel more connected with, but that really is her message for you today. And about Goddess Anya, I think there's another point. I had a story she wanted me to share with you about the playing. Okay. And then we're going to do, I said we have another activation. But I just want to share, a couple years ago, I stumbled on that like intention of like, okay, I want to bring more play into my life. And I was working actually with, wasn't an Irish goddess. It was actually Egyptian goddess Isis. And I wanted to bring in more play. And I really just like, I did like a very powerful, like it was kind of like a meditation with her to really just like tap into that. And out of nowhere, I'm not kidding, a couple hours later, I'm saying to Isis, I want to step more in this energy of play. I think I'm too serious. I want to step more in its energy of play. And I'm very clear, that's what I'm sending out to the universe. That's what I want to bring back to me. 2 hours later, I get a call from my mother. My mother says, did you know there's a local theater production tonight? There's a play. It's like 2 nights only. Do you want me to get tickets? And I was like, well, when does it start? She's like, it starts in 2 hours. And so I'm someone who I'm like, 2 hours? What? Like I'm someone who I like to plan everything in advance, da, 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 da. But I had just, and I was about to say, no, that's too short notice. I can't do it. And all of a sudden I felt Isis. I felt the goddess like tenderly laughing, but it was joyfully laughing. And I was like, oh my God, I just said to the universe that I wanted to bring in more play. And now my mother calls me asking me if I want to go to a play. Like, how could I not? And so I'm sharing that, because when you put that in your intention, the universe will answer in surprising and amazing ways. And then what has to happen, like I said, I said yes to that. And I knew that was part of what the universe was asking, was like, are you saying yes to this energy of play? Go to the play. And it was kind of like a breadcrumb trail. So sometimes we might do that once or twice, and then it feels like the breadcrumb trail kind of like, we don't see any more breadcrumbs and we go back to our old way of being. So sometimes like you are invited to really, like I said, choose happiness, choose play. And sometimes that means that you have to drop your own breadcrumbs. You have to actively seek playful, joyful, very magical opportunities. And they don't all have to be like magical. It could just be kind of fun. Like it could be going to a pet store, or going to, just going someplace that makes you really happy, going to the ocean. But what I'm wanting to share here is Anya really invites you to take the summer magic with you beyond the summer and to take it with you for the rest of the year, and beyond, of course. So that's me. I feel like I'm on my soapbox a little bit here, but please know that the messages I bring through, they are from me, but I really do feel they are like, these are messages from the other world. The great beings, the Tudadanan, they want you to live your best, most joyful, most mythic and magnificent life. And that is why these messages come through. That is why they really want to show up for you. They want you to know they are with you. They are on your team. Okay, so I think that's my message. I'm going to take a sip of water and then we're going to do another activation with your inner child. Okay, let me just see if there's any comments in the chat that I might have missed. Before we do that. Okay, let me see. I think we have this Monica Rose. You felt a strong message that there was no obligation for you to match the heavy energy of others. Amen to that. Yes. Oh my God, I want to speak to that. I have that happen all the time when I'm talking to people and they're like, I'm like, how was your day? And they're like, my day. Sorry, it's like they'll get into this like, well, did you know I had to answer these phone calls? And it's just, and they want you to go to that heavy place with them. And that kind of seems like we're trained in our society that that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to kind of meet people in that in their energy to validate them. But I think, Monica, you're on the right path here. It's kind of like we're actually not doing them a service when we sacrifice our truth to go down and meet their energy. We're doing them more of a service when we stay in the light, when we stay in the ultimate sovereignty of our being, because somewhere inside them, they recognize the light that we're holding. So I think that is beautiful, Monica. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, and Ashley, you thought it was beautiful. You love the whole journey. And Monica, you wrote, I am the magic. I love this. Oh, and Regina. Oh, and hold on, Katinka, your magical child is very excited already. I know these magical children. They're like, yes. Like it's like the magical children are like, yes, we got the adults of the workshop. Now we get to play. And so, Regina, you said Ireland indeed is magic. Okay, you felt again the very old energy from when you were there. You were there twice. For example, at the Hill of Tara, on certain places in the Wicklow Mountains. Yes, I'm very familiar. I love the Wicklow Mountains. That's actually, for those of you who were on the Treasures of Ireland, some fundraiser, that is actually where we planted the trees, was in County Wicklow in the Wicklow Mountains. So thank you for sharing that. And I also have this stone that actually I got at the Hill of Tara. So that is there with us. The literally we have like earth from Ireland with us. I know this is technically like a rose quartz, but it has all of the frequency, all of the magic of the Hill of Tara. So I'm just like, I made sure that I had it for activation today. And Rama, what you heard was, to thine own self be true. Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. Said it was a wonderful session. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. So I hope the next one, I hope the magic comes. I mean, no, not I hope, I know. And I feel like that's very fairy, is the certainty. Of course it will be magical. And for us to kind of just really step into that assurance of course, life is going to be magical. Of course, what we're creating is going to be wondrous beyond our wildest dreams. And when that's kind of coming through, I know there are a lot of, I don't know the ages of everyone listening to this call, but do you remember when we were young? And I remember when I was a little kid, my parents would always say, you can be anything, you can do anything. And they would have this like gravitas. There is this grandeur, like all these things that they held my dreams. Like it's like I could have been anything or done anything, and they held that space for me to imagine, to think big, to really see myself through that lens of like I could have the most incredible life, and I was ready for it, and I was fully open to it. And then sometimes, like I can just say, for my own parents, as I got older, it became Well, like I won't go into, you all know what I'm talking about. Then it became more serious. Then things became more in the box. They became more limited. And what I'm really kind of getting is that you are all invited to find that voice, whatever you heard growing up. If you had parents that said, you can be anything, like you can choose, you can create whatever you want to create. It's almost like that voice that you heard when you were a kid. Most of us heard that from our parents. That is actually, this is the opportunity for you to reclaim that voice, but hold it for yourself. Hold it for yourself. Speak to yourself the way that you would talk to a 3 or 4-year-old kid when they share their dreams, their hopes, their desires with you. Because honestly, you are the one. Like that's actually the secret. It may seem silly, but they're in that silliness. They're in, like, that's all the magic. It's right there. Okay, so I keep drinking, but it's all this fairy magic and energy. I feel it so alight within me. I hope all of you feel it too. Okay, so now we're going to go on another magical journey, and this is for your inner child. So I invite you once more to take a couple of deep breaths. Really feel the ground beneath your feet. Breathe in, breathe out, and once more feel yourself transported back through time and space to the hills of ancient Ireland. You see the goddess Anya there before you. She is radiant, resplendent, with long golden hair, the color of the sun. In her eyes, you sense a majesty. And when you look up, all of a sudden, there is a sudden snap of her fingers, and a beautiful crown appears on top of her head. This is a crown of sovereignty, for she is a sovereign goddess of the land. And all of a sudden, as she walks toward you, you see there are gold rings on her fingers. She holds the energy, the frequency of prosperity, wealth, and abundance. And you see as she walks, she wears a beautiful white, almost seafoam colored dress. And at the bottom, there is a golden thread of fabric that seems to reflect the iridescence of the sun. You feel the gold energy, the gold frequency radiating off of her. And as she approaches you, she says, I have someone I want to introduce you to today. Will you go on a magical journey with me? Will you go on a mighty quest? You look up at her, and if you are ready to go on a magical journey with Goddess Anya, simply say yes. Extend your hand, say yes, and let her lead the way. And now Anya says, we are here today to go on the journey of a lifetime. Are you ready? There is someone who is so eager, so excited to meet with you. They have been waiting eons. They have been waiting decades. They are here and ready and so excited to meet you. Yes, you say, whoever this wonderful being is, I am excited to meet them as well. And as you follow great goddess Anna, you see trailing behind her these beautiful golden sparks, as if she herself were the embodiment of the sun, and the rays of the sun seem to pour off of her great and glorious gown. Her golden hair, it ripples with light. You walk behind her, truly in awe of the beauty she possesses, the beauty she brings to this world. And all of a sudden, she takes you to a small stream. And there, in the center of the stream, you see a child playing. Take a moment to see this child. They are playing with a beautiful comb. And they're not sure. It seems like they're wondering if they should brush their hair with this magical comb, if they should throw it, if they should do any kind of mischief with it. And they see the goddess Anya approaching, and then they see you. And all of a sudden, their jaw goes slack and they stop. This beautiful child that you see in the stream is the complete and utter resemblance of you. You recognize this is not just any child in the stream. This is your inner child here. Child watches as the goddess Anya approaches. She says, come, child, come to me. She reaches out her outstretched arms, and the child comes running, for it is not afraid to be in the presence of so glorious a queen, so glorious a goddess. And then this inner child looks at you. Take a moment to really feel what it's like to see them there. Is this more of the wounded child that you see? Perhaps this is your divine, magical child. Take a moment to really meet this being. What are they wearing? How are they dressed? Is there a certain age that this child is? Is there a smile on their face or perhaps a hint of sadness in their eyes? However they are, just meet them here in true love, true unconditional love, knowing that you are both supported in this meeting by the great goddess Anya. She is here. She is facilitating this. She has called this meeting into being. And now see if this inner child has something it wishes to say to you. And if your inner child is particularly silent, maybe you're the one that has to start talking. Maybe you're the one that has to use soothing words to help it feel safe, to help it want to share and want to talk with you. And just see what wants to come through. If your child is not ready to talk to you yet, you might want to go back to the stream and maybe you see this inner child of yours playing with reeds, playing with sticks at the edge of the water. Maybe you should go down and kneel beside the child. See if you can gather different roots and branches, maybe gather some flowers. Let the two of you build and grow and create together. Goddess Anya watches and she herself participates. She herself gathers dandelions, the most beautiful gold and yellow flowers. Some of the flowers are not of this world. They are so beautiful. You have never seen them before. And Anya comes and says, these are the flowers of the Tudadanan. Behold them in all their wonder, magnificence, and glory. Take a moment now. She reaches out these flowers. You and this child, both of you smell them together in unison. You take a whiff of these otherworld flowers, feeling your hearts, your souls transported by the magic of the earliest dawn of time, feeling yourself transported by the magic of fairy, the heavenly magic of the other worlds. They are fragrant beyond compare, and you feel a softness, a lightness take over your being. Anya invites you to take one of these fairy flowers with you. If you would like, feel free to take two of them and give one to the child that is sitting there. Perhaps this will make the child feel safer. Take a moment to do whatever feels most in alignment, whatever feels right. Perhaps Anya offers all of these flowers to you to be part of whatever the two of you are building together at the water's edge. There's a sudden softening of this child as you step back into the energy of playing, as you remember what it was like to see through the eyes of creation, of fun and magic, moving more slowly again, taking your time. And now perhaps that child looks up at you. And now perhaps at last there is something it is ready to say, something it is ready to share. And just open up to whatever wants to come through. Know this may be a longer process, but the child is definitely warming up to you now. They are starting to trust you. They are starting to really feel the love, the care that you have for them. Beautiful. And now Goddess Anya comes up to you and this child, and she turns the child and says, how would you like to be king or queen for a day? King or queen for a day. The child suddenly jumps up with joy and delight, wringing their hands together. When, where, how? How can I be king or queen for a day? Walk with me, she says. And Goddess Anya, with her long, radiant golden hair and her beautiful blue eyes, the color of the Irish Sea, the color of the sky, takes the child by the hand, and you follow. Perhaps the child lets you take the opposite hand, but if not, just walk along, holding holding the energy of such unconditional love and joy and excitement, feeling this new excitement start to pulse within your heart, within your being. You are excited for what is to come next. And all of a sudden, a beautiful throne appears out of nowhere. And great queen, Anya, goddess Anya, fairy queen of Munster, suddenly waves her hands and a golden throne appears as if from nowhere. And around this golden throne, suddenly you see all hosts of forest animals. You see beautiful birds. You may see little squirrels. You may see foxes, all different animals. You hear them chirping and mewing. You hear a horse in the distance, the same red mare from earlier. You see that horse running through the hills, running freely with such joy. It is a sight to behold. It runs straight off into the sun. And as you watch it running, this beauty moves your heart. Once more, a pulse of freedom opens up something deep within you. Feel yourself shifting into this freedom, this lightness, as you and Anya together help this beautiful, magical child up into the throne. And take a moment to see this throne. Perhaps it is wrapped up, encased in roses. Perhaps there are ancient symbols on the throne. Perhaps the sunlight beams down directly, touching this throne, so it is encased in light. This beautiful child, his or her legs dangle from the throne. The legs are too short to reach the ground. And Anya takes a beautiful scepter. It's much too big, and yet the child holds it with such joy and wonder. And now Anya turns to you, and she takes the crown that was previously on her forehead and says, I give this to you. Will you take it? For a moment, you're uncertain, but you take the crown with trembling fingers. Just take a moment to see what it looks like. Perhaps there are gems, perhaps there are rubies. Take a moment to really see and appreciate this. And as you look into this beautiful crown, maybe you see glints of happy scenes. Maybe you see glints of your childhood, happy moments, moments where everything was going your way, moments where you felt the magic, the joy, the wonder. The rubies reflect all kinds of memories. The gems tell stories in and of themselves. You feel that this crown contains the most beautiful and blessed parts of your childhood, of all that you have lived and known, all of the wonder of your soul. You feel this in the crown. The child looks up at you expectantly. And now Anya says, let me help you. Together, let us place this crown of sovereignty on this divine child. Let me help you, she says. And together, each of you holding the crown at either end, you delicately, gently place the crown on this young, beautiful, magical child. And as the crown touches the tips of his or her ears, all of a sudden there is this great activation of gold and diamond light. As if something clicks, as if something moves in the heavens. You see high above you, the clouds start to part. The sun grows even brighter. The child smiles with such joy. And the child suddenly jumps up, reaches forward, and hugs both you and Anya. More than that, though, at last the child turns to you. You kneel down, bend down just slightly, so you're eye level with this child. The child rushes at you and wraps its arms around you. Take a moment to really feel the embrace here, the hug, the love that's happening right here in this now moment. Really feel this deep, deep, deep in your body. And now see what this crowned, healed, activated, radiant, beautiful divine child has to say to you. They are the bridge to you stepping into the next chapter of your life. They are the bridge to your highest level joy, to your highest level happiness. Open now to receive their medicine, their magic, their wisdom, their laughter, their joy and happiness. And you may feel almost like tears, like deep in your heart. Just take a moment. If there's any emotion coming up, just breathe through it. Really know this is the moment to release all tears, to step into true joy. There's nothing back there anymore. You can let it go. Your inner child, this beautiful, magical, divine child, wants you to know that you are worthy, that you deserve all the best. All the best is here right now. There's nothing more you have to do or be or become. You are perfect. You are perfect. And this child hugs you even bigger, even tighter. Really feel the unconditional divine love coming from this child. Feel it nourish you, hold you. And all of a sudden, there's this beautiful gold and iridescent diamond light that surrounds the two of you. You feel the two of you in this great embrace, almost merging, becoming one with each other. Just breathe into the sacredness of this moment, the healing magic of this moment. Be here now. If there's anything that you want to say, maybe you might want to tell this child you're sorry for something that happened in the past. Saying that needs to be said, but know the child has long since forgiven. The child has long since moved on. They are here to help you now. Come with me, they say. They take you by the hand, and all of a sudden there are stars coming up in the sky. Look at the stars, they say. And you look at the stars as you once did. You see the wonder, the enchantment, the majesty of the heavens. A shooting star flies overhead, and you realize you don't need to hold on to anything from the past that was weighing you down at all. You can release it. You can let all of it go. All that matters is this beauty, is this magic, is this moment. This divine magical child is showing you the way. They are the way. And now they are here for you. They are here to help you step into the most glorious, most magnificent version of your life. They are here to help you step into the true magic of your soul. That which you have always dreamed of is here now. And now this little child reaches forward and they place a hand on your heart. And as this happens, feel anything that's holding you back, any wounds from the past, feel them dissolve in the love that this child brings to you here and now. Feel this child's unconditional, eternal love for you. And as you're feeling that in the depths of your being, in your heart, call upon a great activation of your heart, great healing for all areas of your life, for you to step into true abundance, summer magic, summer joy, summer love, and prosperity this coming season. The child now takes the crown and places it on your head with the utmost love. And as the crown is placed on your head, feel this epic attunement, this calibration that's happening. Feel yourself now connected to the wealth of ages, the prosperity of life itself. As you have this crown, see all around you in this beautiful fairy glen, See flowers blooming. See that beautiful red horse in the distance, riding up and down the countryside. Feel peace and warmth and love. And here we call upon great blessings from Goddess Aine, who suddenly raises her arms to you. We call upon summer magic. We call upon a boost for your manifestations. We call upon the highest level timeline for your life this summer. We call upon miracles. We call upon magic, magic that is instantaneous. We call upon fairy magic, fairy joy. We call wonder and awe and excitement and play into your reality, into your summer. And anything that's holding you back, we call upon the overlighting power of all the Tudadanan and our highest level guides and team to release this now, to dissolve this from deep within us. Anywhere we may be holding on to old resistance, let it be released now. Let it be cleared. We call on the highest level clearing. We call upon Ireland's ancient magic to facilitate this here and now. And we also call upon a simultaneous attunement in the way of enchantment, the magic of summer. And you can see all the sprinkling down from the heavens and beautiful raindrops of gold and white light. And now I invite you to see if either one of these two guides, whether this is your divine magical child or Goddess Aine herself standing there with her radiant hair and her beautiful white gown, perhaps one of these beings has a parting piece of wisdom for you. Take a moment to see if there is something that either of them would like to share before we conclude today's magical journey. Just open to whatever wants to come through. Perhaps Aine has a special gift for you. I see her bringing something magical out of one of her pockets, a pocket you didn't even know was there. Take this gift from Goddess Aine and bring it back with you. Now, once more, see if there are any parting words, any final pieces of wisdom that want to come through today. Beautiful. And take one last look at this forest glen. One last look at the red mare in the distance. Take one last look at the beautiful Goddess Aine, goddess of summertime, solar goddess of wealth, prosperity, and sovereignty. And if you feel so guided, say thank you for all the magic you have experienced with her today, all the love she has brought through. She places the hand on your heart one last time. Open now to receive a final healing activation and attunement from Aine in the energy of lightness. Really feeling this lightness move through your whole being as if you were suddenly held in the most beautiful, radiant silk cloth. Feel this softness, this lightness, this sweetness. And Aine now suddenly leans forward and gives you a final fairy kiss. Receive the magic of this kiss. Open your heart fully. Open heart, mind, body, and soul to the beauty of this moment. Look down at that inner child. You may feel called to give them a final kiss on the forehead or the cheek before you depart. Feel the love, the openness, the magic of this place. And know that you can always return here. But now it's time to go back. Take one last look at this sacred place. One last look at the goddess. And now feel yourself moving through time and space, back to the room where you first began today's epic quest, epic journey. Fully come back now. Breathe in, breathe out. You might want to rub your hands together, move your feet against the floor. Really come back into this now moment, into the sacredness of this space. Just take a couple deep breaths. Ah, I know people are still coming back. If anyone wants to share in the chat how that was for them, what their experience was like, I would love to hear it. I'm just so happy because, like I said, I know some people got here a little bit later, but Anya insisted. Anya insisted on coming through for the people in this community, and I was just so honored to receive that commission from her and to bring her magic through for each and every one of you today. I hope you have felt that lightness, that summer magic, that ease, that joy. And if you are really wanting to connect with the magic, with the beauty of Ireland, well, I have two exciting things to share with you. The first thing, you have probably seen emails from me or maybe a couple other people. You have seen that there is a beautiful event happening this Monday, July 22nd. It is called the Wisdom of the Forest Grail Council. This is going to be a full day of magical, it's going to be interviews, activations, music, storytelling, beautiful, gorgeous speakers. I put this together. This was another download that it came through and I couldn't say no. The universe was just like, this is it. The people, there is sacred, there is something so sacred that is coming through on Monday. For those of you who have not yet signed up, we're going to put the link in the chat. The beautiful premise for this gathering is that the trees themselves are actually going to be the wisdom keepers. They're the ones that are going to be channeled. We're going to be channeling their wisdom. We will be the voice of the trees. And it's just going to be a full day of magic. This is held on Mary Magdalene's feast day. And it's also, this event is very deeply connected. You can tell from the title, it's very connected to the Holy Grail. So this is, to my knowledge, the first time anyone has woven Mary Magdalene, the forest, the Holy Grail, all of this together. It is going to be a once in a lifetime event. Do not miss it. There will be replays available for about, we'll have that first day live, and then replays will be available for 48 hours. I highly encourage you to come live. It is going to be epic. I wish I could express just like how overjoyed I am to share this with you. All of these speakers, I believe we have 12 speakers now. Oh my God, every single one of them was divinely called into the space. And whether you're more interested in Celtic legends and lore, whether you're more interested in the Holy Grail and Mary Magdalene, there is something on this day for everyone. It is just very, very exciting. I cannot wait to share this with you. So that we should be putting that link in the chat. It's going to start around 8 a.m. Eastern time on Monday, July 22nd. It's going to go to like 3:30 or 4. So this is a full day. You don't have to be there for the full day. Feel free to just come and go. But we would love to have you. It is going to be epic. It's going to be like off the charts epic. I really, really invite you to spend some time with us on Monday. It's going to be amazing. And I also want to say that if you really enjoyed today's journey with Goddess Anya, that if you want to go deeper with her, we're going to be bringing, I know some of you here are new to my community. Some of you have been with me for a while, but I'm actually planning a beautiful trip to Ireland in September. So it's going to be September 14th to 18th. If anyone wants to go to Ireland, we're going to put the link for the trip in the chat. On the webpage, it says there is an August and a September trip. The August trip is full. So right now we have a September trip, and that September trip is actually happening over the lunar eclipse. So it's going to be a very powerful portal. And I just want you guys to know, right now it's like early bird ended about a month ago. Early bird expired, but there is going to be a very special, I won't tell you what it is, but stay tuned on Mary Magdalene's feast day. There's something magical that's going to be happening with the price and with the trip. So just letting you guys know, something magical is going to be coming your way. Stay tuned for that. If you've been wanting to go with me to Ireland, this really is the golden opportunity. So if you want to check that out, that trip is in the chat. I'm going to actually add on that trip itinerary, there are different sites, especially there are a lot of ancient Irish royal sites that we'll be visiting. But there, at this point, there was no place that we'd be going to visit Goddess Anya. And so I'm actually going to be adding Lager. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is a place that is very sacred. It's Anya. I'm going to be adding that to the itinerary. So if you enjoyed today's activation with Anya and you want to go deeper, that is going to be added to the trip. You're going to be able to connect with her even more deeply in person. So again, this is just lots of invitations all around. I really invite you to join me on Monday. It is going to be so off the charts epic. I cannot wait to see you there. If you come live, that would just be so incredible. The energy is going to be, the magic starts. Whenever you get there, the magic starts. Even if you're coming like afterwards and you're just watching the replay, the magic is still there. It's just as potent. But there is just something about being there live with the speakers in real time. I really, really invite you to be there with us in person. And if you would like to go to Ireland, stay tuned, because like I said, there's something magical that's going to be happening with the cost of the trip that you're going to hear about during this beautiful Mary Magdalene's feast day event. So just keep keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. I cannot wait to see everyone on Monday. Let me just see in the chat. There's all these messages. Rudy said, you've always been and are still amazed by life. I love that, because a lot of people, they don't hold that awe and that amazement when it comes to like the way they hold life. Let me just see. Oh, Rama, you wrote elf be true. That's so sweet. And Bridget, you said you felt that hug and those fairy kisses. Oh my God, Bridget, you said you felt the daughter you lost was with that inner child. That is very powerful. And then oh, Rama, you said all the trees are singing. Yes. So if you guys want to come on Monday, the trees will be telling stories, singing. I mean, it's also going to be there's just so many different things. When you sign up, you're going to see the speaker schedule and you can see what all the different presenters will be bringing that day. But that's it for now. I feel that, let me just read the final comment in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. I just have a lot of people writing in the chat about fairy magic. Okay. I just want to say so much thanks. I'm sending everyone here so much love. Thank you for being here with me live. Thank you, everyone that is watching on the replay. I am so excited to see all of you on Monday for the Forest Grail Council. We're going to go even more deeply into the magic, and just get ready. This is going to get very magical. And if you enjoyed today, this was just the beginning. I'm sending all of you so much love.